When you're training your dog to do a reverse retrieve, a lot of times the problem is you'll have the receptacle out and the dog won't go up to it. They act sort of fearful, there's excitement, or there is an actual sort of fear-based thing. Maybe a box was blowing in the wind and knocked into the dog when it was young. So they're afraid of objects like doors. Like they get it out of the peripheral a lot of times, and then they start this thing where they're like, I'm not going near that. Sometimes it's related to control issues. The dog's trying to control the situation. This is a male dog, so it could be a combination of things. It could be that objects, when you bring it close, I bring it close to dog and he would like back up. See all this stuff? Same bucket, right? Yeah, there you go. Oh, you can do this, okay. Come here. Heel. Drop it in there. Yes! Fuck yes, dude! Here. Heel. It's very sort of common. It is, it's fairly common. So to alleviate that problem, what I did was I put Gus in a corner. So there's nowhere for him to back up. So when I was bringing this to him, the receptacle, the object, see how he sort of shies away from it? Did you see how he sort of backs up a little bit? He's not really doing that. He'll walk up to the receptacle now, but I bumped him up right into the corner like that, and then there's no place to go. See? So he's afraid of objects. If you're moving him towards him, he flips out. So I needed him to start functioning and getting used to this object without like being afraid. So I'd have him hold, and then I'd go, and that's how we started it with Gus. Toto was a totally different scenario. Here. Yes! Yes! It's good. Here, heel. She's not afraid of this kind of stuff. So I could get her to walk right up to it. Good girl! The dogs right now, or before I started this, they understood drop is drop it into your hand, release it into your hand. So the dogs, when you first start doing this, they understand drop it into your hand, not into the receptacle. Drop. Yes, we'll take it. Hang on, let's do another one. And then get her to drop it. Maybe I'd use the e-collar she'd have in her mouth, and she didn't really quite understand drop that way yet. No. Try it again. Toto, hold. Put it in there. Yes. Very good. Hang on. The dog learns to release it into your hand. We need the dog to drop it, so it doesn't matter where you are. If you say drop it, your hand doesn't have to be down there. It's muscle memory. They're used to dropping the object in your hand. So it was imperative that I got Gus used to this receptacle. Drop it in there. No, come on, Gus. Here. Good. You're missing, dude. Come on, man. Look, here. Can you get that? Hold. No, hold. Get it, Gus. Gus, hold. No, Gus. Gus, hold. Get it, hold. You got it. Okay, here. Come on, buddy. Gus. Drop it in there. Yeah, that counts. That counts, dude. Okay, hang on. Do another one. And if I can get him used to this receptacle, I can get him used to another receptacle. Now, we also did something else, which is I used a receptacle that he was more familiar with. And that would be a water bowl from outside. So I placed this. He wasn't afraid of this at all because he's already been around it a whole lot. And I put it in the middle of the room, and he would walk up to this, and then I either knock it out of the dog's mouth, right? Like I'll say drop it, I'm knocking it out, or I'll use the e-collar, or maybe a combination of both. But it's muscle memory, so the dog starts understanding when I say drop. Now it's drop it out of your mouth. This is in the middle of the floor. We walk him up there with this is by the way, this is a retrieving item. This goes to a dummy launcher, and he likes it a lot. It smells like gunpowder. So we're training him to do scent work right now as well. But he likes this object, so I'd say, Gus, hold, right? Hold that, dude. And then I'd have him drop it in this, like that, but in the middle of the room. Okay, bring it over here. Okay, drop. Yes! But you see the advantage? Like, if your dog is backing up away from something, you're not going to get any place. Use walls. You can use walls, corners, do stuff like that. Think outside the box. Don't think, well, the dog's like, you don't want the dog in this excited state, and the more they back up, the more they get excited. You have to stop it some way. You can't force the dog into doing this. It's not like, oh, I'm getting a refusal, the dog's not doing down, I'm going to physically make him go into the down position. This is different. This is totally different. So he's doing great now, so he can do retrieves into this bucket, no problem. Now, I did switch the area for this. It made it totally different, and each time you do something different, until the dog's fully trained, it makes it more difficult for the dog. So instead of doing retrieves where we were reverse retrieves, where we were originally doing it, we're doing it in another area. So it did make it more difficult for him in the session that you just watched. Come on, Gus. No, pick it up, hold. No, hold. Hold. Okay, you got it? Now bring it over here. Come on. Oh, you missed. Try it again. Good, Gus. But by the afternoon, we can probably get him to do it off leash. He's doing it off leash pretty good. The trick is, don't go too fast. If he's having issues doing this off leash, we put the leash on him and keep walking him up there for a couple days. Take your time. That's a huge problem that people make. It's like they go too fast. Oh, look, it's going great. The dog's going to do it off leash, and then the dog starts screwing up. Come on, over here. Come on, Gussie. Oh, you missed, dude. Here, we'll bring it out just a little bit. Build on success with your dog. You cannot build on negativity. I'm not talking about if you get, like a Labrador, they have a tendency to give you refusal. It's a male lab, intact lab. You do have to bring it to this point where, no, you have to do it. If you know the dog already can do something, right? Like say he knows down, but then you're in a different area, so it makes it more difficult for him because it's change, and he won't go in the down position. You do not leave that area until the dog goes in the down position. The same will be true when we start doing retrieves or reverse retrieves or even retrieves. We'll do them in one area for a while and make sure he's more consistent. There's a lot of consistency before we take him to a different area, because each time you put something new in it, it makes it more difficult. So I've been doing the reverse retrieves, but now we're going to have Katya do reverse retrieves. It's certainly going to make it more difficult for one of these dogs, and maybe both. Okay, the first dog that's up is Gus, and Gus really has a lot of problem. See him backing away from. We know that he can do this. Now Katya's over to the right, and it's causing too much of a distraction, but it's not just her. It's the combination of the new area and the second person. He's only been doing this with me at this point, but we have to get him to do it with Katya. It's important. So this is a session we know is going to be extremely difficult for the dog. It could be difficult for both, but it does end up only being difficult for Gus. See, he's totally resistant. He won't do something that I already know that he can do. He's resistant. He walks up to the bucket. He did get it in there, but it's just obvious that he's going to have difficulties in this session. But it's important that we get him to do it for me in the new area and with the new person, Katya. Now, see how he's doing this? See, he's sitting down. He's just not listening. He's just, I'm going to do it my way. He doesn't give a shit. He's a dog. He's a dog. Now, all dogs will do this in varying degrees. But Gus is pretty extreme with this. He's a male Labrador. There's this notion that, like, Labradors are easy to train. They're not easy to train. There's no easy dog to train. And a male lab, a female lab, it doesn't matter. They can be very resistant at times, and that's what we're seeing here. So there's a dominance. You know, there's a hunting dogs, you know, are persistent, and they're a lot of times they have dominant features, and that's what you see in a Labrador. So this nonsense of like, oh yeah, they're easy to train or they're smart. No dog is smart. First of all, that's just that's doesn't even make sense. That's not smart. So see how he's sitting down again. He's not walking up to the bucket. He's been doing this for a while now. You know, he's been doing this for days. And so anytime you change the dog, put it in a different environment, it's a different person working with the dog, it's going to cause problems. So right now, even though that he's been doing it for me, it's a different environment. It's a different place. We got to start getting him success. Now he is over the bucket. He dropped it. That's good. At least he's in the correct position where his head is over the bucket. It takes time. Don't worry about it when your dog does this. You can't just, there, we got success. So I told him, good boy. You see a little uptick in his body language. He's wagging his tail a little bit more. He's still resistant. Look at how hard it is. He's not, I'm saying hold. It's just like, nah, I'm not really going to hold it. That's bullshit, of course. It's more. See, it's more. He's still being resistant. He's not dropping it at the right time. He drops it on the ground. He's not picking it up. He's just like, I'll put my mouth down there by it. You'll see that in this video. You'll see this. Now, right now, I'm bitching him out. I'm like, you know, Gus, pick it up. He's been doing this for a while. This is just like, it could be very frustrating when you're training your dog. So just be prepared for that. You can't hit the dog. Don't hit the dog. If you're going to give him pressure, use the leash, use verbal pressure, but do not smack the dog. You'll shut the dog down. This dog's already like difficult to deal with. See, I'm bitching him out right now. I'm like, come on, man, you can do it. What are you fucking doing this shit for? Get him over here. Oh, he dropped it, but it was closer. Now watch how long it takes for him. He's acting like he's picking it up. Look at how slow it is for him to pick it up. Put your mouth around it and pick it up. You know, this is, you know, something I know the dog already knows how to do. So he got it in the bucket, and I'm like, good boy. Let's see if he could do it better. He starts doing it better. He does start doing it better. Watch it. Look at him. Put it in your mouth, Gus. You know, I'm saying hold. Look at how slow he's taking it. He just doesn't want to do it. He's just like, oh, I'm resistant. It's a new spot. I'm not used to it. So he just did it pretty good into the bucket, so I gave him a good boy. See how his tail's starting to wag and stuff? Don't back away from this. If you know the dog can do it, just stay on it. You'll see this with Labradors, Cocker Spaniels, Goldens. They all do this kind of crap. Like I said, now he's starting to work. Now he's starting to work. Do you see his body language? He's spinning around a little bit quicker. Let's see if he'll take it a little bit quicker. He's taking it a little bit quicker. See how he's taking? He's, you know, doing hold quicker. Now he's dropping it in. He's getting success. You know, it just depends on the dog, the breed of the dog. He's still a little resistant doing hold. See how slow that is? That's BS. But by the another month, this will all be ironed out. He won't be doing any of this because he's done it for so much more. There's been more and more training. There's been more training. We put him in positions like this where he's taking it a little bit better now, where we've pushed him past this point of distraction. You have to. You can't just train the dog one place and then take the dog to Home Depot and expect it to go well. It's not going to go well. You have to build the dog up slowly, and that's what we're doing with Gus. See, now he's hitting the bucket. We're getting success. This is good. So I am I am bitching him out a little bit. I can't remember what he was doing in that instance, but I am trying to motivate him. It's a motivational bitching him out because Katya is going to come in and she's going to work with Gus, and that's going to, once again, I've got him working, but when Katya comes in, it's going to make it extremely difficult. Now, right there, I told him, good boy, you're doing good, Gus. But it is. It's going to make very, very difficult for the dog, and this is all expected. It's totally expected. You just, don't expect too much. It's a dog. Now I'm telling him, you're a good boy. You got it in there, dude. You got it in there, something like that. But you don't expect too much. Your dog might start working, and then all of a sudden, just like you go to a new place, the dog just shuts down. I'm not going to do it. This doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not familiar with the space. So see, now we're getting success after success, and I'm going to hand it off to Katya. This is going to make it much more difficult for Gus. Now Katya takes her time here with the dog. She gets Gus going, but this is not easy, but we do get Gus working here. Watch this. Maybe the first few attempts, Gus is pretty horrible, but then Gus just starts working, and then we get to move on. Now I think that right now she's got it in his mouth, and she's gonna bring him over there. He's wagging his tail. He's into it. He's over the bucket, but he won't drop it. She's not dropping it. So she uses the e-collar, gets him to drop it. That's good. Now Katya did pick it up, and I said, don't pick it up. And I'm like, well, you picked it up. Go ahead and go. And that's what that was about. And then here's the second try. Gus drops it, and Katya has Gus pick it back up. She's making him pick it back up, because if she starts picking it up, he'll just keep dropping it. That's the kind of dog that he is. He doesn't have a lot of training, and he is, he's a male lab. Is going to be, no, you pick it up. So now she just got success. He got in the bucket. She's telling him, good boy. That's good, Gus. So now she's going to spin back around and see if she could get Gus to do it again. Success again. Katya got Gus to put the dummy launcher dummy into the bucket. So now we're sort of home free with Gus. Gus can screw up, like here he screwed up, but see how he's picking it up faster now too? It's a whole process. You just, don't expect too much from the dog. She gives you a little pat on the head, doesn't lavish him too much. Now I'm going to jump in. Now it's my turn again. We keep switching back and forth, changing it up, making it more difficult for the dog. But look at how he is. He's different now. See his body language. I'm just saying, why weren't you doing this 15 minutes ago, you big dummy? See his stupid tail wagging? So now he's working, and he's working real good. Walk him up to the bucket. He's walking pretty fast. He's kind of chucking it in there. You just don't expect too much. Passing it off to Katya again. It's her turn. Did you see that little paw with Gus trying to slap me? Like, yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, now let's see it. Let's see if he's going to do it. He's giving her a little bit of trouble. He dropped it. Katya said, giving him the command again. Now see how she's circling back? Try that if your dog's giving you trouble. If the dog drops it, take the dog back to the beginning. Put it in the bucket. That's great. Good job, Gus. See his big stupid tail wagging? So now Gus is figuring out, yeah, I'm doing it right. Okay, let's see him do it again. Walking up to the bucket. Doesn't matter. His body language is better. If the dog makes a mistake, see how Katya gets the dog to pick the dummy launcher up again, circles back around. They're going to make another attempt at it, and they get it in. See, that's good. So see, at this point, it's not really bad if Gus misses. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, we got Toto here. Toto is off leash. So this is Toto doing off leash. Oh, Toto got a little excited. I bitched Toto out because Toto's smacking the paintings down. Right? We don't need that. We don't need that, Toto. So I'm gonna take Toto back, and then we're gonna rearrange the paintings, and we're gonna start over again. Pull the bucket out a little bit.
Toto is no, Toto's on leash right now, but we do get Toto off leash. Oh no, Toto is off leash. I take that back. We are working Toto off leash. She's winning in this competition against Gus, definitely. So Toto's doing great. Notice how I'm making sure that the dummy is in the dog's mouth, like the dog's holding it right. Because if the dog holds it wrong to the side, the dog's going to screw up. So you want the dog to hold the dummy. Now I'm going to see if, not yet, but I will see if Toto will take it out of the bucket, which Toto will. Okay, Toto's working real quick. She missed the bucket, not a big deal. Have her pick it up again and get it in the bucket. That's great. Look at Toto's body language. See, Toto's body language right off the bat is how more like Gus's was at the end. Gus's body language at the beginning was resistance. I'm not going to do this. You're not telling me what to do. I'm not going to do it. You can't make me. Toto, the little working dog, is already... I'm talking to Katya about something right now, and I'm not really sure what, but I'm sure it's about getting the dog to do it off leash and about how we step back from the bucket. So you'll see, like, at first, like, I'll be walking Toto up to the bucket and making sure Toto puts the dummy into the bucket, and then I'll just, like, I won't walk totally up to the bucket. That's what I'm saying to Katya right now. That's just explaining what we're doing here. So at a point, I'm using my walking stick, my cane, and I'm using that so I don't have to walk. See how I don't walk all the way to the bucket? I stayed about a foot back, and then it'll be 18 inches, and then it's 24 inches, and then you're 10 feet away. You see what I'm saying? So if the dog can go to the bucket, and it's used to, going to the bucket, putting the object into the bucket with you, and then you just stop doing it, like you try and send the dog to the bucket from 10 feet away, the dog won't do it. It's just a fact. They're not going to do it. So, see, I'm still walk to the bucket sometimes, but I'm not totally. I'm about 10 inches away. So I pick it up. Toto's looking at Katya. Katya's going to take over with Toto. Watch this dog. This dog's doing great. She gets it in. She gets it in. Giving a little. Now watch Katya's body language with Toto. Watch how she'll bump the dog that's getting. See what she does with her foot? Toto's sniffing her and touching her with her head. That's a no-no. She's telling the dog not to do that. She's making it sort of unpleasant for the dog. But you see, she's not kicking the dog. She's just sort of like sending this like body language to the dog, like, don't do that. Don't do that. Toto dropped it, and she's having Toto pick it up and going to put it in the bucket. Now, Toto wasn't holding it right, but that's okay. Toto will hold it right over time. Toto did pick up the object and put it in the bucket, and that's what we're looking for. You see that? See what this dog's doing? This dog's awesome. Gus is awesome, too. Oh. Touch Katya with her paw. Naughty. Okay, now I'm going to use the walking stick here. Now watch, this is another way that we teach the dog to travel to the bucket. We put the object in the bucket, and we know that Toto will get it out of the bucket. So I'm going to send Toto on a retrieve. So the object is in the bucket. There you go. So now she's doing an actual retrieve, not a reverse retrieve. But that trains the dog to travel to the bucket, travel the distance. You can't just expect miracles. Now, I'm using my cane instead of walking up to the bucket. Watch what I'm doing. See what I'm doing? It's like my arm is 3 inches longer, or 3 feet longer. You could do that too. You could do a combination of things, and that's probably, what we're going to be doing with Gus too. It's a combination of things. So, but you can use like a healing stick. You could use a broomstick or something. I mean, it appears like your arm is longer to the dog. So see, she's getting the object out of the bucket, right? And going to bring it back over here. Now I'm going to make sure it's in her mouth proper. And that's what I'm doing right now. You can't see, but I need her to start holding it right all the time. And then when she has to sit, and then I send her on her way. And see how I'm using the stick and taking the stick like it's just an extension of my arm. in that case, I wanted her to get success, so I used the stick so that she couldn't take the retrieving object and miss. I sort of like blocked it with her head. So this is very important here. You need to get the dog to do. This dog will be doing 10-foot reverse retrieves in no time because it's already doing, 6-foot reverse retrieves with a stick. So I would imagine within 2 days we could have her maybe outside. We'll have her someplace else before Gus. Gus is going to have to do it in this area longer than Toto. Toto is progressing on this. If you have 2 dogs or you've trained 1 dog before, don't compare one dog to the other like this dog's stupid. Gus isn't stupid. He's just not picking up on this as quick. He's a male dog. He's a Labrador. He's a different breed. Gus is good at some things that Toto isn't. There's been times when I'm training Gus that, Toto's floundering. It's a fact. And even on this, there was a time before we changed the thing that Gus was doing better than Toto. So it's sort of a back and forth thing. Really, don't worry about it too much. Just take your time. Never compare one dog to the other. All dogs can do the same thing. They learn at different speeds. Just take your time. Some dogs need higher pressure than others. Gus needs higher verbal pressure, definitely, than Toto. But Toto, at times, I have had to use higher pressure. But see how she's working for Katya here? She's doing great. She's doing great. Now, the healing stick could also be used sort of like Katya was using her foot and her leg for, well, I'm calling that a healing stick, but it's a cane. But could be used for the same thing when the dog gets like sniffy or is licking your leg or something. You could use to block the dog too. You don't really want the dog doing that, like licking you. You didn't tell the dog to do that. They're just like being dominant and a nudge. Look at that dog's ridiculous. But this dog's doing great. Both dogs are doing great. Now that we got Gus doing this. We'll have Gus doing it this afternoon, the next day, and Gus will be doing it great. So we're sort of home free on both these dogs. We've pushed them past the point of excitement. Now it's just about them doing it more. So we'll probably be using the cane with Gus. Katya will be working with Gus again. And I'll be working with Gus doing the same thing, doing it very similar to what Katya is doing right now with the healing stick. Sort of stepping back, getting Gus used to the fact that, like, we don't have to walk right up to the bucket to make him compliant. This is the game. It's from a distance. It's fun. And that's just it. You're training the dog to play. So at times the dog doesn't understand the rules of the game. Don't worry about it. Just be consistent. The dog will start picking it up and it starts being fun. Obviously, it's fun for Toto. She's totally into it now. And Gus will be the same way. We'll do future videos with Gus and Toto doing reverse retrieves and retrieves. Both these dogs will be doing it great. Don't know what I'm talking to 1G about, Cherry Bomb, but we're talking about a dog, I think. I think we are. Yep, we're talking about Toto. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's it. There you go.